To HOA or not HOA? That is the question. You know, sometimes I think homeowners associations or gated communities tend to get a bad rap. Yes, there are some communities where they're a little bit overzealous and strict, but for the most part, HOAs provide a pretty decent amount of benefits. Today I want to talk about what I would consider the top 5 reasons you might consider purchasing in a gated community or a homeowners association. Number 1, security. Obviously, a gated community is gated, and there's various levels, right? Some communities have, someone that works at the guard gate 24 hours a day, and you've got to show your driver's license and all these other things. Or, a community like where I live, there's a sticker on my car that automatically scans when I get close to the gate, and it opens. Obviously, with the amount of seasonal and snowbird people that we have here in Southwest Florida, having that sort of security is comforting for them. The next reason, I'm going to call it uniformity. Most HOAs have rules and restrictions around aesthetics, right? Maybe it's the roof type, maybe it's the mailbox color. Not as prevalent as, say, the rules and restrictions around making sure that the yards are manicured and that the trees and the flower beds and things like that are well maintained. In my opinion, that helps keep up the value. It also prevents, your next door neighbor or neighbor across the street from having 19 boat trailers in the driveway, or a broken down RV or camper, right? Those things just aren't going to be allowed in an HOA. The next reason would be common expenses. A lot of these master plan gated communities, you've got bulk cable, fiber optics. My community has a shared irrigation fee. So anytime you're able to use those utilities and things in bulk, for lack of better words, generally the cost is going to be lower because it's being purchased at a much higher volume, if that makes sense. The next reason people might consider buying in an HOA is amenities, right? And obviously there's all kinds of different levels to this here in Southwest Florida, and I presume, around a lot of the country. We have our private golf country club, homeowners associations, here in Southwest Florida, obviously being as close to the Gulf of Mexico and an avid boating destination. We have HOAs that are relying heavily on those type of amenities, marinas and dock space and, all of those sorts of things. Another prevalent gated community HOA here in our area is geared towards the 55 and older, or what they now call the active adult lifestyle, right? And some of those amenities are going to be, of course, pickleball. And I'm not saying that pickleball is only for 55 and older, but it certainly seems to kind of take that demographic by storm. They might have a restaurant, for that community, or for instance, my mom lives in one, they have a hair salon and a nail salon, right? It's all geared towards a specific demographic, dog park, things like that. So again, based on demographic or maybe even geographic location, it's going to depend on the type of amenities that might be prevalent in that particular community. And of course, they all come at various costs. Couple quick examples. A couple country clubs, golf course, high-end communities here in Naples, Florida, where you're looking at a one-time initial buy-in of $250,000, and then annually maybe $30,000 to $40,000 to use all the different luxury high-end amenities, right? Again, a lot of that has to do with golf, but there's, numerous pools and high-end restaurants and things like that. Then you go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Again, I live in a gated community. We don't have a whole lot of amenities, but it is gated. We have a really nice pool and a kayak launch and a tennis court. But I pay $2,800 a year, and that works for my family, right? So a big difference between $2,800 a year and $30,000 to $40,000 in annual dues. As my dad always says, there's an ass for every seat. The last reason, and quite honestly, maybe the most popular reason, is for the social aspect, right? Or the sense of being part of a community, right? We have a lot of transplants that move here from all over the country. Lots of people retire here, as you know, or people move here to get out of the cold, and they leave their family and their friends, a lot of them, behind. And so, by living in a gated community and participating in some of those amenities, or taking the dog to the dog park, or Sunday going to the community pool, gives them an opportunity to meet and mingle with people. It's really as simple as that. So really, to each their own, right? You might be sitting here thinking, man, I just would never want to live in a community where people are going to tell me what I can and cannot do, that sort of thing, which is fine. We have plenty of standalone homes here in the area that I'd be glad to sell you. Right? So thank you so much for listening today. I hope that shed some light on, some benefits to living in an HOA. And if I can be your guide in any of that here in Southwest Florida, let me know. And again, don't forget, only the sunset covers Southwest Florida better. Have a good day.